Am I enjoying Deus Ex Mankind Divided? I am loving it! I am 9 hours in and I feel like I've barely even scratched the surface. This game feels huge. I don't know if it's actually huge, but that's how it feels. I just can't get enough. Taking a break from this game to record and edit this video is one of the hardest things that I've had to do in the past couple of weeks. Let's not get too crazy. And the main reason is the story. It continues the story of human revolution. It's set 2 years after its events, and the game starts with a recap of the previous game, which I totally needed because it's been a while. And just like the last game, it's incredibly intriguing. Like everyone you meet is some kind of double agent, like everyone is setting someone else up, and you never know who to trust, but you have to make choices, and you go with your gut. And in the end, I can't wait to see if I made the right choices or if I was fooled, just like half the people in this world. And the world too feels incredibly alive. Augmented people are being discriminated against, they're victims of police violence and scrutiny, and you're in a weird position because you're working with the law, but you're also augmented yourself. So you also find yourself being stopped at police checkpoints because they want to check your documents or straight up just bully you. And it's not like you can just murder a police officer in broad daylight. I mean, you can. But maybe you shouldn't. It's not all black and white though, not all cops are racist pricks. Some of them sympathize with the augmented people and the unfortunate situation they find themselves in. Every NPC feels human, despite the general society creating a strict divide between naturals and AUGs. And that's just the story side of things. It's the main hook that's been keeping me going, so much in fact that I've been playing all the main missions because they've received a lot of attention too. Not a single side mission feels like a fetch quest or something mindless like that. They too have characters, meaningful events, cutscenes, and it all just helps with the world building, which is phenomenal. But let's talk about gameplay. You have several city hubs that you can freely explore. Most of the missions will actually take place within these hubs, which makes for a more seamless experience than Human Revolution, which also had missions within the hubs, but there weren't nearly as many as this. I will say that you don't have as much freedom as you typically do in an open world game. In fact, I wouldn't really consider this an open world game. There are a lot of constraints. To infiltrate a building, you usually have 2 or 3 ways of getting in. It's not like you can climb any wall and just get it done with. The world is designed in a way where that's just not possible, but the game's still full of options when it comes to gameplay. You obviously have the non-lethal and lethal options, stealthy and assault, but the options within those options get even crazier. Do you fill your inventory with weapons and ammo, or do you rely more on your augmentations? Do you try to hack every panel you find because you've invested on your hacking AUGs, or do you investigate rooms to find key cards and passwords to circumvent the hacking? It's all very organic, and you totally don't need to commit to a single playstyle. I've been stealthy for the most part, and I've invested in stealth weapons and AUGs, but once things went south, I was actually impressed at how well I could handle myself in open combat. The game's got a good cover system. The shooting isn't the best, but there are AUGs to improve it, so maybe that's by design. I can tell you, I haven't tried those out. And in general, the missions feel fresh every time I jump into one. So it's not just a game with a great story where the gameplay gets in the way, but the gameplay too, by itself, is enjoyable. I have played a lot of better games for sure, a lot better first-person shooters, better first-person stealth games, better games that reinforce player choice, but even though Deus Ex Mankind Divided isn't the best at any of those things, it executes them all really well, and I'm sure fans will be pleased. I do have to end this video on a sad note, which is I'm playing on the PC, and it's not terrible, but with a GTX 980 I expected this game to run a bit better. I'm playing on high settings, and it fluctuates between 60 and 45 FPS all the time. The graphics settings can go higher, they also can go lower, but come on, the Globku PC should be able to at least handle high settings without an issue. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. You guys can leave your comments if you want. You can also leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. But at this point, I just want to get back to playing this game. So, you do your thing, I'ma do mine. Globku out. Boy.